The Sherangini takes out the opener here today at the Kalgoorlie Boulder Racing Club. Great to see him be able to break through Maddie, and Pete Fernie with the early trifecta.
Early trifecta for Pete Fernie. It won't be the last time you speak to him today. I have a funny feeling Tessie's got a very strong card on the program today, and looking even in this race coming up as well, got saddles around the next favourite, who will be tough to beat, but I'll be looking to take him on at my own peril, I should say.
We will dissect this form straight away as jockeys are just getting legged aboard now. So the Blue Spec David Ripper Memorial Maiden over the 1642 here. Blue Spec have put on and sponsor the day today, which is fantastic and a great opportunity to remember one of their workers in David Ripper. The one is Quagmire, Simon Miller, Chanel Cooper.
And Quagmire began his second preparation last start at Northern when he just really failed to fire over the 1300 metres that day. I will say though, it was a bit of an absolute bog of a track that day. He wasn't in the right part of the track, and nor did he look terribly comfortable, so he could be a real nice improver back on top of the ground here. And also out to the mile second up. His previous effort second up was running a second to Raconteur runner in Precious God. That form really does stand out for a race of this nature here, but the decision for Simon to send him straight down here to Kalgoorlie does dent my confidence somewhat. It's a bit of a tricky gate here for apprentice Chanel as well. She's going to have to try and navigate it, but I think if she can find a spot with midfield with some cover, she's going to be able to find out what the stable will have to work here.
The two just heading out on course now is Lendon Ear, Ashley Grace, Keshaw Duran.
Was able to improve last start when he dropped back from the mile back to the 1400 metres, sorry Tess, and was chasing King of France out in front, but just couldn't get over the very heavily supported Flash Invader that day. I think a repeat effort here would see it run into the top three again, but I think from the gate Keshaw is going to be forced to take a sit, and I'm just not sure there's going to be that real injection of pace here today that he enjoyed with the King of France last start.
Well, I've just opted for the jacket, Maddie, as it gets a little bit colder here in Kalgoorlie. The next horse to preview is Super Saiyan, Dragon Ball Z, I believe this horse might be named after. Philippa Elliott, Tash Faithful.
Yes, you wouldn't believe that this fellow and Goku are actually brothers, so for all of those anime fans out there. But I think you can put in an improved effort here as well for the travelling Elliott yard. You could see Luke Campbell really having to work hard on him last start to keep him from laying in. So the camp have put a pair of visors on, and they've asked for the services of Tash Faithful down here in Kalgoorlie today. That's a bit of a nice sign of intent from myself. He was only beaten 3.5 to Annie Warbucks, who has since franked that form nicely, and Pretty Royale, who was also sent out as a sub $1.75 favourite this week. That's going back to Northern at Wednesday, and I can't believe it was only a few days ago now we've had that much racing, but I think he's a good chance in this Super Saiyan.
Pip Elliott has been doing plenty of travelling across the state as well, so it'll be great to see her get a winner today. The next horse is the 4, Books of Old, Helen Harding, Zephyr Johnson Porter.
Books of Old had a 2-month freshen before his return to racing here 2 weeks ago, and he was 6 lengths off Lendon Ear on that occasion. He'll improve with that little bit of race fitness under his belt now, and in addition to the 1.5 kilo claim for Zephyr, and also has a bit of a better barrier to work with. I'm just not sure if all those factors combined is going to be 6 lengths on that galloper.
The 5 is Just Eric. Great to see one of the joint owners here, Peter Craig's in the yard, which is fantastic to see. A good friend there. So good to see if this galloper could get across the line. Jason Miller, Braden Garth.
And I think he does have some silly chance here as well. He was always out the back of the field at Pinjarra last time out when he just wasn't able to work into the race. He was beaten a margin that day. He's another one who I think just didn't appreciate the real wet conditions that were on offer. And if we go back to his trial before coming to the races, he went to a half a length to first-time winner out at the races in Savage Dancer. I think he goes around big odds here for quite a relatively untested type, and he's probably a small each-way play.
The 6 is Line of Thought, the 3-year-old So You Think filly, Neville Parnham, Natika Riordan.
Does come out of the 1400 metres at Bunbury, where she knew she was back at the races. She was tramping wide to find the better going on some pretty miserable old day weather-wise, and she stuck on okay, even though she was well beaten. Stable Apprentice going on today. Tess, as you mentioned, she gets on with 52 kilos, and from the draw you're going to imagine that Natika is keen to utilise that lightweight and roll forward. She can improve here second up, and if we listen to Mr. Peter Fernie, who thinks it's going to be an on-pace day, she's going to come into calculations.
The 7 is the Tab Touch favourite, open $2.60, now $1.80 in the market. Reliable Image. Peter Fernie, Lucy Fiore, hoping for a race-to-race double.
Another one the market has come for here, Reliable Image, third up today, and everything except the gate looks a great setup for her here. And it's also another one who finds herself with a new home here at Cal. She made up good ground on, I thought, the worst part of the track at Northam last start over the mile, and the horse that came second on that occasion has since come out and won this week in Queen Aria, so those form lines stack up there. It's nice for this type of race here that she meets today. In her 2 starts today, she's been a bit of a natural back marker, and I think that's what Lucy might have to do from the gate. But whether or not you can make ground here today, Lucy might also just take luck out of the equation and push forward and sit outside of a leader here in something along the line of thought. I think she's a real good barometer, though. If she gets back and runs on, we can use for the rest of this meeting.
The 8 is Admiration Bay, Joanne Forrest and Alex Hearn.
She does her best work up on pace, and if Alex is desperate to get there, I think we can find it for her here today. Does step up to the mile for the first time this campaign for the team, and she was well beaten by Lendonier last time, so I'll probably just be looking around.
And the 9 is Queen of Whispers, was going out on the track quite well and up and about, as we can see on camera as well. A bit of spring to his step for sure. Ryan Hill, Jefferson Sang.
Had the first start this campaign 7 days ago. It was over the 1400 metres with Jefferson on board, and she only ground away that day. I think she'll improve off that effort second up from the nice gate, but she does run into a maiden with a fair bit of depth here.
Quick look at the market now. Reliable Image, as mentioned, is the favourite. $2.60 into $1.85. Peter Fernie, Lucy Fiore set to have a fantastic day here at the KBRC, that's for sure. Line of thought on the second line of betting. Second up today, Natika Riordan rides for the boss in Neville Parnham. $6 into $4.80. Quagmire next best. Unwanted in betting after opening $2.60, now out to $7. Super Saiyan, $9 into $6.50, now at $8. Lendonier, $21 into $17. Just Eric, $20. Queen of Whispers, $23. Admiration Bay, $41. And Books of Old, $71. Maddie, how are we seeing things play out here in the Blue Spec David Ripper Memorial Maiden?
I didn't last long past due test. The jacket's well and truly on now, but I've gone for searching a little bit of value here. I've gone Super Saiyan in this. My numbers are 3, 7, 5 and 1. I just like the gear change. I think Tash will find a spot midfield, and we'll just be able to run a nice race at an each-way quote. Reliable Image, the 7 in for second. If he'd drawn a gate, it would probably be my on-top selection, because I think Lucy would go forward and be able to find a really nice position in running. The gate just makes it a little bit of a question mark, but that's also why you put Lucy Fiore on top of your horse. 5 in Just Eric. I actually really liked his trial back on May 19, and he just hasn't had conditions or luck to suit since, so he goes around at a nice each-way quote for anyone looking for the exotics. And Quagmire, I'll put in for 4th. The market has just fell out of love with this galloper. $2.60 out to $7 last I saw, so he's been a marked drifter in betting. His previous second form is notable, just not sure if 1300 metres up to the mile, second up's just a little bit too much too quickly for this galloper, but we'll find out here today. 3, 7, 5 and 1, and hoping the travelling Elliott Yard can get one on the board.
3, 7, 5 and 1 here for Maddie in the Blue Spec David Ripper Memorial Maiden over the 16.42 here. 3 on top, Super Saiyan. Each way bet for Matt here, $8 and $2.10 the place. Hopefully can get a nice little return here early to start our day. Straight after the running and post-race interviews, we'll be heading up north and previewing the first at Broome. So be sure to stay with us throughout the day on Racing WA TV and try not to veer too far away from your couch. And we'll hand you upstairs now to Royce Newton to call us home here ahead of race number 2.
Yeah, thanks, Tess. So runners starting to come forward. This is the Blue Spec David Ripper Memorial Maiden going over the mile, the 16.42. And favouritism, Reliable Image at 185. We saw a hot pot go down in the first in the form of Lavish Charm, the Cheragini on the second line of betting. Holding on, the late charge of Lavish Charm, just couldn't get there. Got within a half a length on the line. So we're just awaiting 4 to come forward. Reliable Image, also Lendonier, Super Cyan and Queen of Whispers. Jefferson Sang just dismounts off Queen of Whispers. And the They'll come forward very shortly. Thanks, Stu. Good afternoon to you, and also the Tab radio audience once again. A field of 9 to go over the 1642 here. Your favourite Reliable Image steady at the 185. Currently $2.10 on the parimutuel. On the second line, we've got Line of Thought at $4.40 with fixed odds betting. So now the rider of Reliable Image has dismounted, Lucy Fiore. So we've just got some news coming through from stewards, and I'll bring that to you very shortly. But Lucy has dismounted. Okay, so Jefferson Sang, 4 kilo claiming apprentice, just has the wrong vest on, so he just needs to change vest. Behind the line, I believe, is that correct, Clayton? Yes, so this should be a quick thing to fix up. Another look at the market. Reliable Image steady at the 185. And really no moves in this market. Line of Thought, $4.40. Quagmire's been a drifter. Opened up very short compared to its current quote of $7. And Super Cyan being kept safe in the market at $8. The next best, you go out to Lendania at 16. So Super Cyan there on screen. Matt's tip from the yard. And the favourite being led around riderless, that's Reliable Image, who has her first run for Peter Fernie and Andrew Ingalls today, a former Bob Peters horse. Transferred now to Kambana Lodge, Reliable Man 4-year-old. She's only had the 7 starts, lightly raced. So Jefferson just grabbing his correct vest here, and we won't be too far away from getting underway for race number 2, the David Ripper Memorial Maiden, sponsored by Blue Spec, as is the whole card. A big thank you to them, and Murray and Nick Black. Of course, they sponsor the Boulder Cup, one of our big features to be run on the 21st of September this year, a week before the AFL Grand Final. So Reliable Image goes forward. Admiration Bay comes along. Alex Hearn in the saddle today. So Lendania and Queen of Whispers, the last 2 to come forward and complete the line. So Lendania joins the line, Keshore Duran in the saddle, and now Jefferson back aboard Queen of Whispers. So which will be the last one to come forward. A few of these have been standing there a little while. Queen of Whispers comes forward. Just Eric Jorn the inside. Stand by, we're set. Race number 2. Ready to go. In the David Ripper Memorial. Signal from behind. And there we go, gates fly back, they're off, racing. Level dispatch it was from the mile. Pushing forward early Line of Thought together with Admiration Bay, and up there as well as Books of Old. Crossing early on, it's Lendania from out wide trying to find a position close to the speed. Now they were being followed next of all by Queen of Whispers, Super Cyan to the outside on the improve. Down on the inside, Just Eric with Reliable Image second last, and last of all, it's Quagmire. They leave the 1,200 metres behind them. It's Admiration Bay who finds the front today, leads out by 3/4 of a length. Running second is Lendania. They were followed next of all by Line of Thought, who gets into a nice position. A length then to Books of Old. Now they've opened up a break of 2 lengths to Super Cyan, the outside of Queen of Whispers. Reliable Image well back, spotting the leader 6 lengths. And a further length and a half then down on the inside to Just Eric, and it's Quagmire at the tail on the outside. 750 metres to run. They head to the side of the course, and it's Admiration Bay for Alex Hearn, showing the way by 3/4 of a length. Duran there with Lendania the outside. They were followed a further 2 then to Line of Thought. And then length and a half then to Books of Old Defence. Now Super Cyan's on the improve around the outside. Then we had Reliable Image, who starts to get warm, still spotting the leader 5 lengths as they string out on the side of the course. Then we had next of all Queen of Whispers, well back then to Quagmire. And last it's Just Eric as they straighten up for the run home. It's Lendania off and gone. Shows out by 2.5 lengths down the outside. Line of Thought gets into the clear with Super Cyan. Reliable Image needs a split. Is it there? Yes, it is now. Reliable Image comes through. Line of Thought the outside, but it's Reliable Image bursting through on the fence, and Reliable Image is going to go on and win the second. Wins by a length and 3/4. Second across the line, we had Line of Thought. Third, Super Cyan. Quagmire got going late when it was all over. Then the pacemaker, well, one of the pacemakers, Lendania, followed in by Queen of Whispers. A break then to Books of Old. Admiration Bay knocked up, and last to greet the judge was Just Eric. That was a pretty handy win there. Number 7, Reliable Image defeats Line of Thought. Super Cyan there for third. But Reliable Image just took a while to get clean air. Didn't look like the split was going to be there momentarily. And eventually bursting through, and has gone on to win in style too. Always a good sign when you see a horse take a split like that. And Reliable Image has burst through and gone on and won with ease. Margin almost 2 lengths. 7-6-3-1 these numbers, a length and a half by 3/4 the margin. Reliable Image by Reliable Man from Dariana. Owned by Andrew Ingles, trained by Peter Fernie. Lucy Fiore in the saddle. Reliable Image breaking through at start 8. Second across the line was the 6, Line of Thought for Nev Parnham. Natika Riordan by So You Think from Thinking of You. Owned by Nev, Carolyn Parnham. Also Miss N. Plunkett. Third in was the 3, that's Super Cyan for Philippa Elliott, and Tash Faithful hit the line strong by I'm All the Talk from Kindy Kid, owned by Mrs. R. Elliott and Miss P. Elliott. And a fourth in was the 1, Quagmire, who got going late, Simon Miller and Chanel Cooper. 7-6-3-1 after the second. Race 3 is next. That's the Blue Spec Drilling Chili handicap over the 1100. A field of 6 to run. The scratching is number 6, Oracle Sun, as we head down to the yard and catch up with connections after the win of Reliable Image.
Reliable Image gets the job done here, Pete. An early double for yourself and a very smart ride from Lucy.
Yeah, it was an amazing ride. I was panicking at the 600 and then it came off the bit a bit, and then she didn't want to go wide. She cut the corner and just, I think she won the race.
Little held up there as well until about 150 out when the gap presented, but let down really nicely. Do you see you could step out a little bit further and trip later on in the preparation?
If we can find some staying races in Cow, we will.
Big team in. Can we make it 3 nice and early here? You've got 2 very nice chances in the next.
I've got 3 actually. So hoping they can run good races. We'll find out. They all should run close to the speed and see how we're going.
That's a good push for another trifecta. Congratulations here.
Thank you.
There's Peter Fernie on fire, as we knew he would be today, Maddie. A great result. Lucy's about to come in. Patience is key. If anybody is going to make you patiently wait for a winner and it pay off, it'll be Lucy Fiore.
Yeah, how good was that ride there by Lucy, Tess? She's just able to find the right gaps, and they were able to come out just when she needed them, and was able to get every answer out of this galloper. And she needed to, because it did look like they were going along at a really good clip. She was coming off the bridle at about the 600-metre mark, and I think Lucy's certainly been able to win this ride very comfortably here. It's going to be the interview number 2 out of 2 here with Lucy. So as you've said, we're going to have to start thinking about some interesting questions if Lucy has a day out here today, because she's got some very nice rides to come. Treasured Queen in the next, which I'll ask her about as well, is absolutely knocking on the door with 2 seconds here. And we'll just try and get a word with Lucy as well. Lucy, congratulations on 2 out of 2 there. Talk us through the ride, because it wasn't just your stock standard ride here at Cal.
She jumped really good, but there was just way too much speed. Obviously, I didn't want to be too far back today. Her baton is back, so I tried to pinch as much as I could, but it wasn't very much. Just wanted to hang in a lot. Obviously, I was trying to go around. I just got to a set of heels and she ducked inside, so that's obviously why we went the short route, but it paid off.
It certainly did. I thought it was a really nice progressive win there. Treasured Queen in the next. It's nearly gone 2 from 2 in seconds at the moment. Can we finally get it over the line in the next?
Well, it's the same field, so all her runs have been really good, but yeah, we keep finding second. Hopefully we can go one better.
All the best in the next.
Thank you.
There's Lucy Fiore combining with Peter Fernie for an early race-to-race double here at Kalgoorlie. Plenty more winners to come. Reliable Image takes out race number 2, 7, 6, 3 and 1 with the numbers here. We now head up to Broome, Matty, and Set to be a great day up in Broome. The weather's about 25 degrees and sunny, so a little bit different to what it is here. But the Gully's Electrical Service Maiden over the 1200 metres is race number 1. Gully's Electrical, Rob Galberti owned electrical company there for sure. How do we see things playing out in the first?
Nice race here to start, and I'm hoping the pictures that we're seeing up at Broome show it to be a bit warmer than where we are, but I think it's a nice maiden. I think Fast John has probably got the right race set up here for it, and it is our first horse that we preview. He's been knocking on the door for a maiden victory with 3 consecutive seconds at Broome at his last 3 starts. I did think he had every chance last start when he couldn't just reel in Rulesque, who skipped away with it after sitting over the top of the pace. I do think it's going to have to be another good ride here from Christy Bennett, but she's done it before. 2 back, she drew a very similar gate. She was able to find some cover and hit the line strongly. I think with the pace on here, the field are going to stretch out and she can find a spot.
Maddie, have a look at these images right now. How fantastic does that look up in Broome?
It looks like a place you'd rather be sometimes, wouldn't it? I'm sure I've just stolen that from an advert campaign, but it does look beautiful, the pictures we're seeing up at Broome here.
There's 3.5 minutes until start time, so we'll begin a very quick preview. The one is Fast John, Peter Bamford, Christy Bennett.
We'll move on to Granite Rock, though, because we've just spoken about Fast John. So Granite Rock, he was able to get to within a length of our favourite 2 starts back and then was caught wide in running, and he was well beaten over the 1,300 metres. I don't think he'll get caught out there today. The 1,200 is more liking at his stage of his career.
The good halve is the 3, Peter Bamford, Jess Gray.
Hasn't been able to get into his Broome campaign so far. He's had 2 starts there and he's been beaten by 16 and 20 length margins. Just can't see how he can turn it around with those type of gaps.
Wicked one is the 4, Roy Rogers, Shani Webster.
It is the first start for the travelling Roy Rogers camp and looks at the Broome racecourse for the first time on race day. A few gear changes go on here, and if he could reproduce his first up effort previously when he was able to run 4th down the Pinjarra 1,000 metre straight, I think he's every chance in this.
Duet having first run on the dirt today. Anthony Barton newly trains. Bonnie Police takes the ride.
Has seen a lot of WA now. Was only racing in Ascot back in December. Albany recently when failing to run on strongly, and now heads up to Broome for the Barton stable. The real question mark I has to is where she's currently at with her form. Her early days form would have lengths on these. She was 2 lengths to Housewife at Ascot, but we haven't seen that type of form now for a while. So I'm hoping the warm air up at Broome can get the best out of her.
The 6 is Watch Out, 40 start maiden, Jim Enright, Kate Pateman.
We know where Watch Out will be. We'll be out in front really trying to put the hammer down and steal a margin. It will be start number 41 for her, and she's still trying to break maiden status. I do think she will one day with that really positive racing pattern, but I think she has ran better races when she gets up over further than the 1,200 metres.
Hard to top is the 7, Kayla Farrell, Peter Farrell.
Is having her 4th start at Broome this campaign and just wasn't able to work into the race last start. She ran a good race the start prior. She was only beaten a length by Fast John on that occasion, and you'd imagine a repeat of that performance would see her go pretty close here today.
The 8 is So Fab, 3rd start this preparation for Kath Godden, Alicia Whittington rides.
2 starts so far on the dirt this season after having some really nice city grade form to her name. I gave her a pass mark first up at Headland when running 3rd to subsequent winners in Brazilian Bell and Living Like Kings. Went to Broome and was beaten by Fast John to the tune of 5 lengths that day. She was drawing awkwardly though, so from barrier 4 today, I'm expecting Alicia can use that gate and be a little bit more prominent in running.
Cable Girl is the 9, Kayla Farrell, Molly Clark.
Has drawn another wide gate here, and her first 2 starts up at Broome, she's been beaten by some margins. Just happy to watch her until she can just show me a little bit of improvement on the Broome surface.
Just under a minute remains until start time, Maddie. The King's Word, a quick word on the scalloper, Darren Pateman, Kiri Yule.
I do think there is a maiden win in her future, but after drawing barrier 10 last start and having to go very wide, she's drawn barrier 9 again here today.
How do we see things playing out in the opener at Broome?
1, 4, 8 and 6. I've put Fast John on top. I've convinced myself that if Christie's positive out of the gates, Watch Out is going to pour the pace on here. The fields might break open and should just leave a nice spot for him. Not sure I'd be taking the short quote though about him at $2.30. 4 in Wicked One on an each way quote. We've seen a number of Roys improve up on the dirt. Yardstick won first up at Roeburn. Yesterday, 2 days ago, we saw cousin Nikki lead for every post except the line. Probably would have preferred 1,000 metres for that galloper though. 8 in So Fab. I think she'll be close to the speed here today and can run an improved race. And 6 in Watch Out. Out in front on the dirt will take you a long way, but it is start number 41. 1, 4, 8 and 6 for the first at Broome.
Runners are making their way nicely into the barriers now. 1, 4, 8 and 6 for Maddie French here in the opener at Broome. The Gully's Electrical Service Maiden. 1, Fast Boss John on top is our current favourite at $2.45. We'll hand you over now to Alex Vlahos, who's calling home all the action up in Broome. He's been a very, very busy man this weekend, but we'll hand you over to him now.